Do you remember that tasty herb you had on your first day here? Frondo asked. He did not wait for an answer. Today's story will be about a sorcerer and his apprentice and their experiences with a strange herb and some strange people invading the place that they call home. I hope that you don't not hate it. But I'm just your apprentice, Gerald admitted with a sigh. I'm not sure how to solve that kind of complex spell work. You might just be my apprentice, but you have been my apprentice for a century or two. You know more than you might believe, Frondo asserted. After all, you've seen the components that I used for my immortality spell, haven't you? I've been a sorcerer for 10,000 years. I'd like to believe I'm half a competent teacher, or more. Frondo nodded to the wall where the glistening silvery gray hair shone on the shelves of spell components. There were hundreds of components. Amongst the rows of jars, the hairs seemed entirely inconsequential, but they weren't. Yes, I thought they were unicorn hairs, but... Gerald began. But the unicorns are in hiding, yes, I know. That makes it much harder to collect their hairs, of course, and over a children's book. I could hardly believe my ears when I heard, the great sorcerer Frondo said with a grimace. Absolutely astounding. So what are the other hairs? Gerald asked carefully. He knew to tread carefully when asking Frondo about the details of his secret spell. The knowledge wasn't worth risking the benefits he had been reaping for a century. Do you remember that tasty herb you had on your first day here? Frondo asked. He did not wait for an answer. Well, every so often, a bunch of ravenous gray-haired people start clambering into my garden and trying to steal it from me. Naturally, as the progenitor of the heart-stopping spell, they never survived that intrusion. So you steal their hairs, Gerald noted? But how do they substitute for the life-giving properties of the unicorn hairs? I mean, aren't they just gray hairs? Not quite certain, but I've tested the spell, and it clearly works quite decidedly. I mean, after all, I am still here, right? Frondo smiled as he continued with a flourish of his hand. He often marveled at his own improvisation. Every time I simply stop their hearts, collect their hairs, and then enjoy one of those strange, tasty herbs for my trouble. Then I return to this tower to cast a spell. It always works, for millennia. Strange, Gerald mused softly. I agree, Frondo responded animatedly with his hand still flourishing. But I'll take a working immortality spell over a tasty herb any day. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you have something to say, let me know in the comments down below. And if you happen to enjoy the story, please like and subscribe. I'll see you on Friday for the next story.